This is Nick Nielsen, Mad Scientist of Muscle, and what I've got for you today here is a review of one of the coolest new pieces of training equipment that I've had the opportunity to test out. Now, this is nothing new, and it's something very new at the same time. Now, in terms of nothing new, it's a dumbbell, power dumbbells, and obviously there's nothing new about that. What is new, however, is that these are highly engineered adjustable dumbbells. Now, there are a variety of adjustable dumbbells on the market, ranging from, the old standbys where you have a single post, you put the weight on, and you basically put clips on the end. And I've got sets of those here myself, where these are just like Olympic handles. You put plates on, you put a clip on, and you're good to go. Now, those are great if you've got a bunch of weight plates and if you've got room for basically holding those weight plates and the money for that. Now, what these NuoBells do is allow you to avoid all the fuss and muss of changing weight plates, of adjusting the plates. And what I found actually is one of the big ones, one of the big advantages of this particular adjustable dumbbell is the post. Now, when you're using one of these adjustable dumbbells, you put a plate on here, you have however much of this post sticking out. If you're doing an exercise like a dumbbell bench press, you basically have to balance that post on your leg as you're lying back to get into position. It's kind of a pain in the butt. And this is where the NuoBell really shines, because it actually allows you, and I'll show you here, to have a flat surface, just like a regular dumbbell, just like a regular pro style, regular gym dumbbell, but without basically needing to have that giant post sticking out. So as you can see, this is an 80-pound dumbbell right here. This is nice and flat right here, flat right here. Even when you adjust all these weights in between, it's flat every single step of the way. Now I'm going to give you a close-up here on how the mechanism works and how this really sets up. And honestly, the engineering on this thing is phenomenal. Alright, so here is a close-up of what the NuoBell looks like. Now, what I've got here, I've had it set to the maximum weight, which is 80 pounds on here. Very simple. What you want to do to change the weight is turn the handle. Literally, all you're doing is turn the handle. So the number tells you exactly how much weight is here. As you turn the handle, you can go all the way from 80 pounds all the way down, literally to a 5-pound dumbbell, which is a phenomenal range and very easily attainable range for this kind of training. Now, you do need to have this thing set up in the little racks that it comes with. This standing up rack that I've got the dumbbell sitting on is an optional thing. Personally, I'd say definitely get the rack. It's highly recommended. It makes it much easier to use these dumbbells, getting them up off the floor. You don't need it, like I said. And actually, for some exercises, I found I actually took these things completely off of the rack and set them on the floor. For example, I was doing a drop set, an extended drop set up and down the rack using dumbbell rows. These sitting on the floor, and I'll demonstrate this one, where I would do a row. When I finish the set it back down right into the thing, click, boom, straight into the next set, down into the next weight drop, click, into the next weight drop. Now, here's what it looks like. So this is the very base part of the model. Now, I'll give you a close-up on here. This mechanism actually extends out to catch into these other plates. Now, what I'm going to do here is something that I actually don't recommend you do, but I want to show you is how this mechanism works. So I'm going to actually pull some of these other plates out. And like I said, this is not something I recommend you actually do, but I wanted to give you a demonstration of how the mechanism works on here. So, as you're coming out, you can see this thing is catching and holding onto the weight plates right here. So as you click out, you get more and more, basically, I don't even know what the word is, but anyways, you get the idea. You click it all the way out, and this clicks all the way to the end, catches all these weight plates here. Now, the design on here, this is how these things hold together and don't shift. They kind of sit down and catch on each other. And I'll click this all the way back down to 0, down to 5 I should say. I mean, you may or may not need to know the mechanism or even want to know the mechanism, but these sit right in here. You can see these things catch on each other, hold on to each other. So that's why I think the engineering on this thing is just phenomenal. So I've got it put back together here now. In order to change weights on here, you do need to have it inside this little frame right here. You don't need, like I said, this stand, but you do need this frame. And then all you literally do is rotate the handle. If you want to go up, you rotate it towards the plus sign right here. If you want the weight to go down, you just rotate it towards the minus sign. Now, what I found when I was doing these is you can get confused, not super confused, but if you set the dumbbells in the same direction with this alignment of the pluses both going this way, then I'll go all the way to the end and you can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. If you want to change weights, then you move them both in the same direction, just like so. Now, what I did one time by accident is I had them switched around like this. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why I was having such a hard time changing the weights and wrapping my head around it. Basically, instead of both of the plus sides being on here, the plus sides were now both facing outwards. So I was getting myself really confused. So just keep that in mind as you're switching weights on here. It's really not that simple, not that hard. It's like first grade stuff that I just got myself turned around on. But I actually kind of like it like this because you can just, inwards is lighter, outwards is heavier. And I actually prefer holding these things up like that. All right, so I mentioned that one of the benefits of these specific dumbbells is that all of the ends are flat. Now, this is the dumbbell set up as a 25 pounder. So as you can see, I'll come in close here, this end is nice and flat. It's got the little nub that catches on to hold this together, but essentially this is something you can rest on your leg very comfortably, whereas something with a post, not so much. Now, when you're putting these back into the frame right here, you do need to make sure these are lined up. One of the cool things about this design, which I really also think is very thoughtful of how they designed this, is these are shaped like a wedge. So rather than having something that's like harder to get in and must be set down exactly, as long as you get it close, like you can set it here, you shift it, boom, it's going to actually self-correct and guide itself right back into the slot. That kind of, I guess, trapezoid shape actually really makes it easy to get these in. You do have to make sure that these are sitting all the way back, but as long as you get it in fairly close, you're going to have no trouble getting these back into the slot. Now the beauty of this, and the reason I like this one so much, is that it mimics a real dumbbell very, very effectively. Now, one of my favorite things about the NuoBell is not even the fact that it's adjustable in weight. It's not the fact that it's got the smooth ends. It's the fact that this handle is actually thicker than a regular dumbbell handle. So it's not as thick as a dedicated thick dumbbell handle, but it is a fair bit thicker than a regular one, so that it actually makes your hand open up a little bit more and work your forearm and your grip strength a little bit more. This is due to the post that's embedded right inside of here in the mechanism inside. It means that this is just a little bit thicker than a regular dumbbell handle. And I'll move in for a nice big close-up on here. I mean, it's going to be hard for you to tell exactly, but it's definitely thicker, and it's one of the things that I think is very beneficial to having this kind of set. And even though I've got a full complement of regular dumbbells, with the Hex dumbbells and with Pro Style ones, I actually find myself using these specifically because of these thicker handles. So it's definitely a big benefit. All right, so what exercises are the NuoBells good for? And this is a very long list because they're literally good for any other exercise you want to do with dumbbells. Literally anything you can do with dumbbells, you can do with these NuoBells. For example, you might even think if you're doing goblet squats, are these plates loose? They're not loose. As you can see, I'm shifting these around. They're definitely not going anywhere. So that was, for me, the only real exercise I had any kind of concern about was something where you're actually holding and supporting the plates. No problem. They do kind of wiggle a very tiny little bit, but for me, it was nothing that caused me to think that they were going to come apart whatsoever. These things are locked in nice and solid. I was doing goblet squats with the basically full set of plates on here, and it felt really nice and comfortable in my hands, and I had no issues whatsoever. When you're doing something like a dumbbell bench press, obviously you want those plates to be solid. You don't want them tipping and like falling off on you or anything like that. I had zero concerns about anything like that happening. This design, the way it works, really locks those plates into position. And the engineering on these things is fantastic. I have no qualms about doing anything overhead, doing anything like a bench press over my chest. Very safe, very well put together. So as you can see, this is how the rack looks like. Now I also wanted to show you how quick and easy it is to get these holsters, these handles, out of the rack. There's a little twisty knob underneath here. Now you just turn that. You can set them down and make sure you turn them the right way. But they're really not hard. Like as I mentioned before, if you want to do something with rows where you want these things coming out of the bottom, this is what it looks like on the ground. So let me set this on the ground, point the camera down, and I'll show you. So that's what it looks like, how it comes with just the dumbbells themselves. If you're setting these on the ground, that's what it looks like. So if you're getting these with the stand, you'll basically set these frames inside on the stands. So like I said, these stands are optional. They come sold separately. But for me personally, I think this would be a fantastic option to add on here. It's going to make it a lot more convenient to grab and use these things. Personally, I found this very effective, very easy to put together, and very simple to use. All right, now pretty clearly we know these are designed to replace a whole stack of dumbbells. Now, the question is, how do these compare to the other two main competitors in this basically genre of dumbbells, which is the SelectTech by Bowflex and the Power Block dumbbells. Now, I've tried both of those other ones, and honestly, these are much better, simply because they conform to the size you want. And for me, that's huge, because when I'm doing specific exercises, like for example, if I'm doing a dumbbell curl, when you're using the SelectTech ones, the entire frame the SelectTech ones stays on, so you're lifting the entire frame. So if you're taking like a 10-pound dumbbell or a 20-pound dumbbell and doing curls with that, you're still curling this entire big giant frame. The weight is sitting inside of that frame, so it really has kind of a weird feel to it, and it's extended, so it can actually change, to me at least, the mechanics of the exercise a little bit. And it, for example, if you're doing a dumbbell curl and you want supination, you can't do that with something that's sticking way the heck out here. So that extra basically size of the frame makes it a little less useful to me. However, with this, it feels exactly like a regular dumbbell. Now, the SelectTech ones are fairly easy to use. They just have the knob on the back end where you select the weight. The Power Block ones I've used as well. These are the ones that are basically a big square block, and these are kind of the innovators, the original ones that created this genre of dumbbell. So in its time, fantastic way to have an adjustable dumbbell set right in the confines of a very small space. I always found when I was using the Power Block ones that, you know, once you get used to it, it's not so bad, but trying to get the weight right with these pins that come in and out, sliding in and out, and it gets a little too much thinking involved sometimes. And I know that's like a typical meathead thing, but essentially having something like this where you have like a number and you just click it, I mean, how easy is that? It's really like brain dead simple. The other thing I didn't quite like about the Power Blocks is the shape of it. You know, they're not going to roll away because they're not round, but having your hand inside of a frame like that, I never really did like that idea. Not that I anticipate anything going wrong or anything like that, but it almost felt like your hand was trapped inside of the thing, which I was not a big fan of. These, like I said, are actual dumbbells, so they feel exactly like a regular dumbbell, they operate exactly like a regular dumbbell. Definitely, to me, stand head and shoulders above the other two main competitors in this genre of dumbbell. Alright, so I've talked a lot about the positives and about the benefits of these NuoBell dumbbells. Are there any negatives? Are there any downsides to these? And the only one major drawback I found with these, in context of what these are basically built for and how they work, is weight capacity. This is not going to be an issue for most people who use these. For me, my weights, my dumbbells go up to 125 pounds, and I have plate-loaded handles where I can expand, substantially further than that. 80-pound dumbbells are going to be more than enough for the vast majority of people who are looking for these for home gym setting. They even do have a 50-pound capacity that's slightly less expensive. Maybe that'll be plenty for you as well. But like I said, they do go up to 80, and this is going to be fine for the majority of people. And I showed you earlier too, all the way up to 80, all the way through, you have the flat ends, which I think is one of the major benefits of this, in addition to the ease of changing weights, which I really want to highlight again. It's so freaking easy to change weights on here. You just turn the handle and click. It's not going to turn by accident. It's not going to slide around. These plates, while not like Loctite solid, are solid enough to feel secure as you're using them. Now, the only other slight drawback I found, and this is something for me personally being mad scientist of muscle, is I would love the capability to have different loads on either side here. That's not built into here, and I don't even know how the engineering on that would even work. But wouldn't it be cool to have something where you have like 30 pounds on this side and 20 pounds on this side? So if you're doing offset loading dumbbell training, have that capability, like you can maybe flip a switch or something. I don't expect them to incorporate anything like that in. Like I said, I don't even know if it's even feasible or possible with the engineering. What I do know, however, is don't try and do it by taking weight plates off of here. This will actually loosen the plates on one side, they'll slide around, they'll slide right off. Bad idea. Make sure you're keeping these racks fully stacked up, solidified, so that they're solidified as you're doing this. These need to be set all the way to the end in order for this thing to function properly. That's really it as far as drawbacks on this. There's really not much to speak of. All right, now before I get into some exercise demonstrations here and some technique demonstrations, basically I want to let you know that this, as you probably gathered it from how I was talking about earlier, this gets my highest recommendation. This set of adjustable dumbbells is like nothing I've tested before. It's absolutely fantastic. It's exactly what I've been searching for in terms of adjustable dumbbells. When I first started home gym training, literally more than 20 years ago, the dumbbells I had were the post kind, and I really didn't like them a lot. I found another style that allowed me to have the flat ends, but they were a real pain in the butt to work with, and those have been discontinued a long time ago because of how much of a pain in the butt they were to work with. These basically solve every problem that I've found in terms of adjustable dumbbells. They're easy to use, they have a nice flat end, they're fast. Literally just changing the weights by clicking the handles. It's so easy. They're not cheap price-wise, but they're going to last you a lifetime. There's moving parts, but they're not going to break because it's solid steel engineering. Like everything is rock solid on here. So I have no hesitation giving this my highest recommendation. In terms of how they compare to the other kind of adjustable dumbbells, head and shoulders above this. Even though the weight capacity might be a little bit less on some of the other models than on some of the other models, I think these are much better in terms of how they function and how they work. So here's a bunch of exercises. I'm going to go through demos of what you can do with these, and some of these, like add and drop sets, you can do much more easily with these than any other adjustable dumbbells, or even with any other sets of free weight dumbbells that I've found. For example, I've done down the rack, up and down the rack dumbbell bench press, and trying to shift and move these dumbbells around is something I've done, but you're constantly moving and it does dissipate and take away from the time it takes to change weights. With this, set them in, click, pull them back out, and you're done. So here's a bunch of exercise demos that you can kind of see what you can do specifically with the NuoBells. And if you have any questions, definitely write something in the comments below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I've been using these quite a lot, and I love these things. They're fantastic. So without further ado, here's some exercise demos for you.